Yeah, it's TDPHINSTALK. We done came so far. Gotta keep going. Hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out DDW. He's great and that's my peer review. These haters keep on hating and it's starting to feel like deja vu. Insanity and Chef Jew. I can't forget my day one crew. EM Reason Ball game. The recognition's overdue. I share with you my point of view and this is what it's got us to success. My haters say I'm a mess. They say that I'm a pest and I depress. And I'm obsessed with causing stress, better yet the stress they can't suppress. Nonetheless, I just impress because I'm blessed and they oppress. I know the answers, they just guess. When they play checkers, I play chess. When they regress, I make progress. And my attention, they get less. They feel neglected, CPS. If they don't pay, I repossess. Now I digress and decompress and take recess and clear my chest. I must confess, I am the best. Like, hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out DDW. He's great and that's my peer review. These haters keep on hating and it's starting to feel like deja vu. Insanity and Chef Jew. I can't forget my day one crew. EM Reason Ball game. The recognition's overdue. I share with you my point of view and this is what it's got us to success. On the road to the Super Bowl, no matter the cost, man, we willing to pay the toll. 50 plus years and they all ended in tears. Now it's time to pop bottles, celebrate, scream cheers. Hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic repping my team. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs. Look at how much we done grew. Shout out to my day one crew. We only here because of you. Shout out to my day one crew. We are only here because of you. Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a special treat for you all today. We have a special guest. Y'all are going to really enjoy this one. Man, I tell y'all, I like getting y'all exclusive coverage, you know, things that matter. I have that for you today. Before we get started, let's take care of some household chores. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. In the last week and a half, we have added another 400 members to the channel. So welcome to all the new subscribers. Make sure that you're subscribed, though, because 24% of all viewers are not subscribed. So all you have to do is hit that red button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. Y'all know the drill. This is the third stream of the day. We've been doing this long enough to know that YouTube on the third stream, they don't send all the notifications out. And here is proof. We got 69 people in here right now. And I just did a stream 10 minutes ago on here and we had over 350. So that is the proof, ladies and gentlemen. They do not send the notifications out. So you have to do your part. You got to punch that like button because the more likes we get, the more they send it out to people and new people suggesting to come watch. So hit that like button because I got a great treat for y'all. And I don't want to keep them waiting because, man, this is one of the best YouTubers we have out here in the football community. Shout out to my guy from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Michael Pless. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are we doing, man? It's great to be on here with you. I have so much respect for your channel. You're doing a great job, and lots of respect. You do this by yourself. I don't know how you do it. Just talking to the fans. Yeah, it's people don't realize like how hard that is. Like it takes a lot of work, and I have much respect to you. But yeah, this is awesome being on here with you, and appreciate the love.
Absolutely, man. No, I appreciate you actually coming through. I know you're a busy guy. You know, you're covering, you know, a Super Bowl worthy team and all. And then you got the Dolphins over here having the aspirations. But you know what? We're on our way. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, we are a better team than the Bucs, but we'll get into that. Okay. But you know, I got a lot of questions for you, man, because we're about to have two joint practices that are going to at least tell us a lot about our team. Now, I'm not worried about the game. Brady ain't playing, all of that stuff, but these two practices are about to get real. What are you looking forward to the most in these two practices on the Bucs end?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, like you said. Great competition everywhere. A lot of great matchups, but specifically for me, I will be looking at Bucks offensive line versus that Miami front seven. I think that's going to be very interesting. Just seeing the matchups of Jalen Phillips, like how is his maturation going in year 2 versus a guy like Donovan Smith and Tristan Wirfs, and then obviously the big guys in the middle. Raekwon Davis and Christian Wilkins inside against our kind of very new inside offensive line interior as far as Robert Hainsey, our new left guard, and then you also have Shaq Mason as well. So those matchups I'm definitely looking forward to.
Well, who's at center? Because you just lost a big dog.
Yeah,
who's
Ryan
at center?
Jensen. Yeah, Ryan Jensen's a big injury. It looks like it's going to be Robert Hainsey right now. He's a third-round pick out of last year's draft from Notre Dame. They feel he's ready, but we're going to see, right? He has to step up and do the job.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
I feel confident. Again, he's a smart guy. He worked in the offseason with AQ Shipley, a former center, for a long time. He's also a Bucks coach last year. And AQ talked very highly of him. So it seems like everything's heading in the right direction. He just needs the reps and the experience. And, he's got a couple weeks here to get ready for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, at least we're going to give you all a test to see if he can hold his own, because that's one of our biggest strengths on the team is that interior D line. That's very interesting.
Absolutely.
So if you don't mind, I want to go through this segment where I just learn everything I can, like within 5 minutes, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Talk to me about units. What's the strongest, the top 4 strong units on the team in order, if you can?
Yeah. Well, obviously, you start with quarterback Tom Brady.
That's your strongest unit, him? Hey, hold on. I just thought about it. Hold on. This is, first of all, he's supposed to be in Miami, it sounds, from last I heard. But no, right. I'm going to leave that alone. But what else you got for me?
I mean, if you just look at groups, obviously our receiver room is very strong with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, who I feel is very underrated addition. And then you have Julio Jones as your 4th guy, which, that's pretty awesome to say. And then, defensively, I think our front 7 is one of the best in there with Shaq Barrett, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, a rookie or second-year player now that, stepping into his starting role. And then you have the big guys up front with Akeem Hicks and Vita Vea. And then Levante David and Devin White are probably one of the 2, better inside linebackers in the league. So I would say that group. And the secondary as a whole, I think is pretty strong, even though they don't get the credit they deserve. Their issue is just staying healthy. That's been their biggest problem over the years. But when they're on the field, they're actually quite good.
So are they healthy right now?
Yes, right now they are healthy, and hopefully it stays that way.
So are you all coming to practice full force with the exception of the center position as far as health on the team?
Yeah, right now everyone's pretty much healthy, outside of Ryan Jensen. So, yeah, it should be everyone should be good. Mike Evans does have a tweaked hamstring, so we might not see him, this week, but just have to wait and see. I know he was warming up with the trainers today, but it looks like they might hold him out.
Still a good core.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can challenge our guys because we have our questions on our team, and I want to go through some of our strengths before we go through the questions first. Our secondary is phenomenal in my opinion.
Agreed.
And with 2 corners, unfortunately, we're not going to have Byron Jones at practice. But we do have Nick Needham, who is up and coming and really playing great football. And then you have Noah Igbenogany, Coleman, and Trill Williams. Trill Williams taking the front seat over those 3 guys. And I think, it's going to be a real battle with the receivers that you all have, especially with Mike Evans not being back. They kind of, I'm not going to say levels the playing field because you all still have an advantage, in my opinion, in that area, but it gives us the work necessary for us to check out those other 3 guys while Byron is preparing to come back week 1 in the season. So that's something that we're definitely going to be looking at with that secondary because we're strong. But above all, Brandon Jones and Javon Holland at that safety position can clean up better as good as any duo in the league back there. So that's going to be a nice test for our secondary, which is one of our strongest units. But you said some interesting words just now with your secondary doesn't get enough respect. Well, I think that these joint practices will determine whether they get enough respect or not.
Mhm.
Going up against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson, a rookie, mid-round pick in Eric Ezukama, who's coming on very nicely.
Mhm.
Sanu's looking good. I mean, this core is the strength of our team. So I think that'll give you all some really good answers and be very interesting. Now, I did have a question about the run stopping. I know you're stout up front. Is that stout like against the pass rush or the run or both? I mean, or which one is better than the other? What can you tell us about that?
Well, I would say they are definitely built to stop the run first. Like that's just the way the scheme is game
Gosh.
planned. Yeah, they just love to stop the run. That's how they're. It's just the way they're built because you have Vita Vea up front, you have Akeem Hicks, William Golston is another guy that just knows how they know how to clog holes very well. They hold their guys up and really let their linebackers get after as far as in the gaps in the run game. Pass rush though, it's still there. They find ways with Shaq Barrett, Joe Tryonchenko can rush the passer, and then Vita Vea and Akeem Hicks can definitely push the pocket, and then on top of that, they like to send blitzes. Todd Bowles, he likes to blitz quite often. So you send in like guys like Devin White and Levante. They send in secondary blitzes as well from all sides. So kind of keeps you off on your toes. But yeah, definitely stopping the run is first and foremost.
Wow, this is so coincidental. We actually have official breaking news coming out of Tampa Bay, and I cannot believe we just mentioned this man's name and y'all just traded him. Vita Vea is out of there to Seattle. Go check it out, bro.
Are you joking with me?
Yeah, I am. I am.
Okay.
That's the guy I don't like because he's unstoppable. Oh my god. That's the guy I don't like, man. He's just too much of a force up front. Like, how is it legal to get a guy like that plus Hicks and all of them on one team, man?
Right.
It's just really. Oh, I'm sorry. I unplugged my headset. It's just really oh, my son. You gonna say hi?
Hello.
Oh Lord, he bringing me a snack to open for him. Sorry about this. Give me a second.
Oh no, you're good.
Here you
Yeah,
go.
I'll talk
Happy
on Vita
birthday.
Vea. I mean, he's just you look at a guy at that 6'5", he's 350 plus pounds, and he can run like he's a linebacker. So yeah, just very impressive athlete that can take up a lot of space and also open up things for a lot of others to get on the carnage back there. And they also drafted Logan Hall, in the second
Mm.
round, so they're very excited with him as well. So yeah, it's that'll be very cool to see. It's definitely a strength of ours versus Miami's offensive line as well.
Oh, okay, there we go. I'm sorry about
Okay.
that.
No,
But
you're good.
yeah, man, I just and we got good guys up front. Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, and
Absolutely.
you didn't mention Zach Zeiler, who graded out higher than Christian Wilkins, but they got him sitting behind and hiding him. That's gonna be interesting. But how's the run game?
Run game for the Bucks offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's led by Leonard Fournette, who I think is solid. He's really come on as a 3 down back. And we have some guys behind him and Keyshawn Vaughn, Rashad White, who they just drafted.
Mhm.
Gio Bernard is still there, who's decent as far as a 3rd down back. But again, it's really something they don't really emphasize. They lean on their passing game because it is so strong and led by Tom Brady. But I think the run game is something they're going to try to get back to, be a little bit more balanced, and utilize that play action passing game as well.
Because Fournette picked up about 200 pounds, right?
Yeah, that was pretty funny over the offseason. I'm glad he made fun of it, and but no, he looks in great shape. I was at training camp on Sunday, and he looked very good.
Wow. See, I'm just sitting here thinking, I like transparency on this channel, and I got to be honest with you. Knowing what we're dealing with your front, your defensive front, Um, that's why I went straight to your running game to determine, how we're going to look and see if we can stop your run because you got a good back, a good unit, and we've been doing very well just shutting down the run. But that could also be indicative of the lack of production we're getting on the O line on our side. And I just have zero faith in practice of this O line holding up against that defensive front. I just gotta, I'll tell my people. I mean, I just gotta be honest. It's gonna be. I feel like it might be a bloodbath. So, with that being said, if we can have some good practices and hold our own, we really should be encouraged. And I'm just saying that to everyone. We should definitely be encouraged if we get a good report coming out of camp that the Miami Dolphins O-line held their own against the Bucks front. Now, what unit are you looking to find out if they can be productive in these practices because you're worried about them?
Yeah, I would say, definitely our offensive line versus your defensive line, especially in the middle. That's going to be a great test. The pass rush that Miami can provide, and then our passing game against that very good secondary, like you talked about. Xavier Howard is a shutdown corner. You look at Byron Jones, and then also the other guys that you mentioned, Javon Holland and Brandon Jones are probably one of the better safety combos in the league. So yeah, I would say, just seeing how our matchups go there, seeing our tight end room go up against your linebackers and safeties, I think will be very interesting. So yeah, definitely. And then, seeing if our pass rush can, like you said, beat up on your offensive line. But I'm looking at your offensive line. I mean, on paper, I guess is it not producing as far as like Liam Eichenberg at left guard, center Connor Williams? I mean,
Well,
are these guys just not?
the problem is, first off, we don't know if Teron Armstead is going to fully contact practice against you all.
Okay.
That's number one. Had his first and second practices really last week, so I don't know what to expect on in that regard. So you may have a left tackle that Larnell Coleman,
Hmm.
who's a seventh round pick. Um, but left guard, Eichenberg, he's developing in that spot. I don't have much of an issue with him. The real issue we have is at the center position. Connor
Okay.
Williams is a true guard. He is actually one of the better guards in the league. The problem is we are playing him at center for the first time in his career, and it hasn't looked great thus far in camp. So we've been shopping a few centers, but on the low end, and we
Mm.
need some real help in that area. So just like you guys, you lost a starter. We never really had one.
Okay.
And the guy that we thought was gonna try to develop to be the starter this year is dealing with an injury as well. So right guard, we're good. Right tackle, we got a player who hasn't been great at all, but has made improvements in these camps so far. But it's a raw line with the exception of Armstead. And
Mm.
Connor's raw because he's playing a position he's not, frequent in. And so two guys, Teron Armstead at left tackle and our right guard, Robert Hunt. Those are the anchors right now, and everything
Okay.
else is trying to be experimented on and worked out. So
Right.
too much unsure. We're unsure. So we're
Did
gonna find out.
Yeah, did Solomon Kindly, did he just
Kinley.
kind of yeah, Kinley, did he just kind of find it like, I guess, like, phased out or
Yeah.
yeah? I had a lot of hope for him, I remember
Yeah,
watching him out of the draft, I thought he was gonna be a very solid starter, in the NFL. Same thing with Robert Hunt, obviously, he's been pretty good, I
yeah.
liked him coming out, so
Robert Hunt's good. Solomon Kinley just keeps falling.
okay.
He keeps falling on the charts. So I don't know how that's gonna end up. Honestly, he's not getting a lot of shake, not making a lot of plays. So at the end of the day, you know, day at a time. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm really nervous about this because talking about the big fish in the room for us, okay? Tua Tagovailoa, okay?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's a part of the issue because in practice, there's a lot of sacks. We can't run the ball, even though we have a good front, but you all have a better front than ours. I'm just being honest. We got a good front now, but you all
Mhm.
have a better front on the defensive side of the ball. Um, but Tua's like these practices are everything for him. It's going to tell us if you can have, find some success versus the Bucks pass rush and secondary. That tells us a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about guys that's going to be out there going through the motions. Guys are out there fighting for their jobs on a Super Bowl contending team. And that's my biggest concern, that this O-line is going to give him a rough 2 days. What can you tell me with what you know from the outside looking in about Tua Tagovailoa? What's your perceptions as at this point?
Yeah, I think it's been a tough, it's been a tough circumstance for him. You look at, just coming off of that injury that he was going into his first year. I don't think he ever fully recovered physically, and I think physically now, I think he's in much better shape. I feel like he's fully healthy. I think he's always been a very accurate passer. The talk has been about his deep ball, but I don't think that's an issue either. I think he can throw the ball downfield. I think it's just continuing to surround him with the playmakers, surround him with the offensive line that he needs, and balance that with a good, solid running game where you can get him moving east and west, get him outside of the pocket, use his athleticism to really simplify the game for him. I think adding weapons like Tyreek Hill, obviously a Jalen Waddle, guys that can win vertically but also win horizontally across the field and really help him do what he does best. And those are those 15 to 20-yard passes, intermediate, going, to each sideline or down the field. So I feel like this is his best opportunity to really have success. And, Mike McDaniels, I think, will put him in great position to be successful.
This is it, man.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, it's a critical year for him. I mean, he's got to step up, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't step up, we gotta deal with Brady next year. Yeah. But that's a real reality. That's a real possibility.
And I will add that, I am looking forward to seeing Miami's receivers go up against our secondary. I think that's going to be a great test for the Bucs secondary, and also a very good test for Tua and others, to see how they can do against us.
It's definitely going to be interesting, man. I can't wait. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to evaluate it. I'm a little nervous because I want positivity to come out of this, because we need to be able to, I mean, we brought in a lot of talent, and at the end of the day, we have to do something impressive this year in the playoffs, making it first off, but get a game or two, maybe. But if not, then it's almost like, where do you go from here? Because from a cap standpoint, we're getting in a lot of trouble for the future right now. So that's what I'm more nervous about. Now, with the Bucs, I gotta ask this. So what are the aspirations? Is it Super Bowl or bust this year?
It's high. Yeah. Expectations is definitely, going after the Super Bowl for sure. It's a lot of unfinished business. They definitely feel like they should have beat the Rams last year, but just had unfortunate breaks with injuries at the wrong time. We were pretty beat up going into that Rams game. Almost made the comeback. We had, one play there at the end where miscommunication happened and they couldn't really finish it. But it's definitely Super Bowl or nothing. They feel like this is Tom Brady's last ride, and they definitely want to take advantage of it.
Until he comes to Miami. I get it.
There you go.
And hopefully not. I want to shift this to Todd Bowles for a second.
Sure.
He's the heart of that defense, if I'm correct. What are they looking to run against us? What's the base? What do they like to do?
Yeah, base. I mean, if they're in base, they're gonna do a 3-4. Just typical 3-4 with 3 down linemen or 4 linebackers, and 5 or 4 in the secondary, I should say.
So hold on, 4? Is it single high or 2?
We tend to play a little bit of more single high, but they like to mix it up with their zones. A lot of zone blitzes they like to run at you. If we're in nickel, you could see some 3 safety looks. So it's a lot of different things he likes to cook up back there. Yeah, definitely bringing blitzes from everywhere. He likes to be aggressive, that's for sure, and match up a little bit man, and then he can go zone as well. So he mixes it up quite often. So you really don't know what you're getting until you get into the game.
Now I know you're in enemy territory right now, but you don't have to sugarcoat anything over here. What do you think the conclusion is going to be of these joint practices?
Well, that's
You
a
can
good
be
one.
honest. You can be honest.
I honestly, I think it's going to be pretty balanced. I think Miami's going to win some. I think the Bucks are going to win some. I really just think it's going to be a lot of good competition. I don't think there's going to be a clear cut winner. I think there's just going to be a lot of high level play. Good plays made by both sides. Uh, I would say the Bucks probably have the edge just because they're a little bit better overall and a little more deeper than Miami. But I think Miami still has a lot of playmakers and talent on both sides of the ball.
Well, I can be honest with you. I think we're going to dominate the Bucks in
Okay.
practice. I think Tua's about to shred that secondary up, and y'all going to go look for new corners. I think Vita Vea is about to retire after he can't break through the O-line. Oh my gosh, I wish I could be saying these things in honesty, man. But listen, man, do you have any questions for me and the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, I mean, Mike McDaniel's new head coach, first time being a head coach. What's your overall opinions of him and the staff? Do you like it? Do you like the schemes they're trying to implement? How do you think it's going for everyone there?
Well, first off, I like Mike McDaniel. Hopefully, with the rumors of Sean Payton and all of that and Brady, hopefully they're not just bringing him in to be
Placeholder.
Exactly. Because I get sick of that crap. But I like him. I'm rooting for him. I hope that he makes this a success. I do have my personal concerns. One of those was answered recently. I want to see a guy who can sometimes, when a nitty gets nitty, can get up in a player and be aggressive. And finally, I saw that with Preston Williams the other day, where he kind of like was barking at him at practice. That's the element that I want him to make sure that, that accountability is there, versus just all positive and all nice. But from a schematic standpoint, I'm conflicted because it's hard to buy into something that you haven't seen work at a high clip yet.
Right.
So as we struggle in camp with sacks, handoffs that run into a wall and, misfires, you also have your fair share of, wow, nice 25-yard dime, nice 40-yard dime. You have your fair share. So I have mixed feelings right now. I have to see it at its optimum when we actually play real competition, and I'll have a better answer for you after these practices. But I like Mike McDaniel. I love what he brings to the table, but the jury's still out. This coaching staff is it's talented. It's not the best in the league, not even close, but it's a solid coaching staff. A whole bunch of coaches that are looking to make a statement and say that they were the reason this unit got better, because we had a lot of units that are and were struggling. So this is a huge opportunity for their professional growth, but it's also an opportunity. It doesn't guarantee the outcome. So that's what we're going to continue to watch for. But I like it. I'm optimistic about it, but time shall tell.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. I like him personally as well. I think schematically, I think he's very smart and he knows how to put guys in the right spots to be successful. So,
Yeah.
but like you said, time's going to tell all. And then I guess my other question, what is the expectation for Miami as far as this team? I think it's a very talented roster, but what do you feel like they need to do to kind of make that push over the top, really? Because last couple of years have really good records, just been cut short.
Divisional round victory.
Okay.
It's a failure if we don't get to a divisional round and win. We need to go to a championship game, a AFC championship game, and if we lose, we lose. But you don't bring in this amount of talent. We talk about Josh Allen, his third year. They went to the AFC championship. These are the things we're trying to compare. I know it's a lot of comparisons happening, but when you bring this amount of talent, you add the weapons with the top defense that should be in the league, you have to do something special. I'm not for this just make the playoffs, because we're not going to be able to make the team that much better than it is now. We have too many people that we have to pay, because for the last 4 years we brought in rookies and some of them are panning out and now they're going to need money. Plus the veterans that we signed, giving them money. And I feel like we're in a 2-year window before we start finagling, balancing the beam. Rookie quarterbacks have an advantage because they make $8 to $10 million a year, and you give your team another $30 million of flexibility to be competitively better than others. And Brady lived off of that in his career. And Brady, the one thing I always remind Dolphin fans is that Brady will not shy from telling you, when he says why I'm not the highest paid, because I enjoy the competitive advantage of having better talents around me. And that's real. So we got 2 years to take advantage of having a competitive advantage of more talent surrounding our quarterback. After that, it's the Seattle situation. We keep trying, but we can't do it. Finally, let's trade him. It's the Chiefs situation. We run to our end. Now we can't afford to give Tyreek the type of money he wants. So something has to give at some point on all these teams. Buffalo's going to go through it within the next 2 years where something has to give. Every team has to deal. Maybe the defense gets a little worse, whatever. But money is real in this league, and everybody wants to believe that it's fake. So championship round, even if it's a loss,
right?
We have to do something special with all this talent, and our quarterback has to take that big jump this year. So that's what our expectations are. Now, you'll hear different things in our community. Just make the playoffs. That's because we ain't did nothing in a million years, and we're desperate. But that's the real expectation when you break it down for us.
Okay, very good. Next, I look at your running back room. What's I mean, you got a lot of guys there, 1 through 4, and I see Miles Gaskin here listed at 4, who I really like. How do you feel they're going to use these guys? Chase Edmonds, obviously Mostert, or however you say his last name.
Mostert, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a big thing with him is injury. Sony Michel's a good veteran. So, what do you expect from that group? How do you feel? Is it going to be some type of committee or rotation? How do you feel?
It's definitely by committee. Okay, that's definitely going to be a committee approach. But I can't have expectations on a unit that's going to be dependent on an O-line. And that's the biggest issue. Now, we have speed. I mean, we're one of the fastest teams in the NFL, period.
No doubt.
We have the speed, but what does it matter when you hand it off and they're looking at a brick wall in front of them? And that's what I'm seeing in camp. A brick wall in front of them on 70% of the run plays. And the other 30% of the run plays, 2 yards, and then that brick smashes you. 2 to 3 yards. So we have talent in the room. We're going to run it by committee. But again, this O-line has to flourish before we can actually see what we can blossom to be on the ground. And until that happens, we got a lot of talent that we can't use.
Gotcha. So I guess, with your, assessment so far, you would say the offensive line is probably the biggest question mark of the team.
Yeah, offensive line and interior linebacking core.
Okay.
Those are go hand in hand, right? Those are our weakest areas. So those are our weakest areas. Offensive line and the interior linebacking core. That's it. Outside of that, we're ready to compete with anyone. We're ready to compete with anyone. So hopefully we make that trade for that kid up in Chicago who requested a trade today. That'll take care of one of them right away. And O-line, again, we'll see. I feel like all we need to do is bring in a starting caliber center, move guys where they belong, and the line will be fine. But we're not doing it, and we're waiting. Will they do it? Time will tell.
Right. I'm a big fan of Jalen Phillips. definitely. We put a video out on him, before the draft. I thought he was one of the better pass rushing prospects out there. How do you guys feel he's coming along? Do you expect him to make a kind of leap, a big leap in year two coming this year?
He's coming along well, very well. We do expect him to make a big leap. Um, Here's what I will say, not just for him, but anybody on our defensive front. I feel like the scheme that we run will not allow you to understand how good or how bad a player is in that front.
Okay.
Because we're heavy on the zero look. We love putting 6 and 7 at the D line. Who's coming? Who's coming? You got 5 and 6 blockers. Somebody's going to be free. Who is it? And when they hike the ball, all 7 of them take a step forward. And whoever isn't getting touched, it's their job to go. And whoever gets touched, there's 2 to 3 guys on every play. Your job, if you're touched, back out.
Okay.
That's like a automatic free guy every play coming at your quarterback. So the decision has to be made fast, right? So your hurry numbers are going to be high on the team. Your sacks are going to go up. The defense as a whole, that's the beauty of our system. And but you got to have the athletes that can get where they need to after the point. So a lot of these guys get free rushes. Javon Holland, all of these guys, they get free rushes, but those go into your stats. And is that you being on an island just beating your man and making the play? And so it may not show up that way. And that's why it's hard to really say how a guy's doing. Now, if we ran a 4-man rush organically and they're getting at it, that's different, but we've tried that and we're not very good at that as a unit. We don't have an organic pass rush. So I don't want to be unfair, or I don't want to be critical or take any credit away. It's just our system will not allow us to truly evaluate a lot of these guys that way.
Okay. Are they expecting anything from Melvin Ingram this year?
Ooh, that's been the star in camp, man. Shockingly, not shockingly, we know what he's capable of, but man, he's bouncy out there. He's everywhere, stopping runs, guarding out in the secondary. He's been the monster in camp.
That's awesome.
He's been the true bright spot in camp. I'm loving. Hey, look at the depth chart. Every Dolphin fan, Melvin Ingram, yeah, we got some really good depth. He's a starter. He's starting on the depth chart right now. Nobody saw that. I saw it coming, but most people didn't see it coming. But and when I went to camp to go watch him for about 5 days, he's been every bit of advertisement for me. He's amazing out there, and that's a huge plus. He's going to definitely help us big time this year. He's going to have an impact on the game.
That's great. Yeah, I love him as a player. I think he, a very good veteran. He's definitely going to help the younger guys for Miami, and just be that presence that you can count on consistently. And give you, a pass rusher that can win matchups. Win one-on-ones and definitely cause havoc. So, yeah, that's great to hear. He'll be a good matchup to see. Individually going up against Donovan Smith and Tristan Wirfs. That's probably a strength of our offensive line as far as our tackles. So those matchups, I'm definitely looking forward to, watching, see how it plays out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be a great competition, just seeing those guys go at it. So, yeah. And also, I guess my last one, Mike Gesicki, tight end. I know is he considered one of the better tight ends in your opinion? You think he's coming along? I mean, to me, he seems underrated.
He's a top 7. He's a top 7 tight end in the league. So that's one of the better tight ends in the NFL. Unfortunately for him, the system that we run now under Mike McDaniel, I don't see his utilization going up. I actually see it going down, but he'll be more used in the blocking game, which that's his only flaw, is how consistent and how good he can block. That's his only weakness. There's definitely desire in that area. I mean, catching the ball, he's one of the best in the NFL, top 5, hands down. He has the hands, he has the wingspan, he has the leaping ability. He has, I mean, the route running, he's solid. He rounds out a little here and there. But he's definitely one of the top 7 tight ends in the NFL. I just don't know if this system is solely for him. They haven't committed, and that's why they franchise tagged him. Okay. So we'll see on that long term. But I want to say this first and foremost. Thank you so much for coming through, man. Thank you for taking the time. I want people to know, if you want some real Bucks talk, make sure you go check them out on YouTube. Real Bucks Talk, ladies and gentlemen. The channel is, I mean, look at the content. It's constant, and he doesn't stop, man. So keep doing your thing, man. And I'm going to be on your show next week. Is that going to be Monday?
Monday, yeah, for sure. We'll, definitely talk about the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Thursday at practice, so that'll be great. And yeah, it's not just Buccaneers football. We do mainly Bucks, but we also talk a lot of NFL, especially during the season. Especially opponents that are coming up on our schedule. We talk about their team and kind of break it down. And then the off season, we talk a lot of drafts. So if you guys are like into NFL draft prospects and stuff like that, we do a lot of videos on players the Bucs don't even draft. So it's a lot of fun. You get a lot of information about certain guys. We did a video last year on Jalen Phillips, and it was probably one of our top videos. So yeah, it was really cool.
This is why you all need to go subscribe to Real Bucks Talk, because they're not going to have a choice but to talk about the Dolphins when we go undefeated and win the Super Bowl against the Bucks. So y'all make sure you go subscribe. Check out our guy, Michael Pless, man. Thank you so much for coming through, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, TD. Thank you again.
All right, you have a great evening.
All right, you too, man. Take care.
Dolphin fans, listen, man, I told you I had a special treat for you all. Everything you needed to hear. Now you know all you need to know about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know their strengths, you know their weaknesses, you know what we can expect in these practices. And it's obvious, y'all. We might get exposed in the run game. And if we can come out with some nice runs, that's huge. Okay? Their secondary is really good. He feels they're underrated. I just know they're good. We're going to find out in camp tomorrow with Tyreek Hill and Waddle running everywhere how that looks. Also, will our O-line hold up, man, and give our quarterback time to even make plays? That front is as good as it gets. We get answers. If you're not excited about getting answers in the next 2 days, I don't know what you're doing. Then you must be really like being lied to. But we get answers. And that's what it's about. Knowing where we need our truest areas of improvement so that we can either bring in people that can help us do that before the season starts, or get to work and get better. This is going to be interesting. You will have me live tomorrow from Tampa Bay Bucks practice, trying to do my very best, because they don't have bleachers that go up. You're just walking around. So I will be trying to follow, the first team and looking at them too and all of them. And I will be live giving the best play-by-play that I possibly can for you all. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe when you come through, because we'll be subscriber only, okay? So get ready for tomorrow. Thank y'all for tuning in to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Shout out to Real Talk Perez, said, TD, we have to do a collab. Hit me up, homie. Hit me up, homie. I never shy away from collabs. If it works on the schedule, let's do it. Let's do it, all right? But thank y'all for coming through. Again, TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Love y'all so much, man. It's TD Fans Talk. We done came so far. Gotta keep going. Hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic, repping my team, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs, look at how much we done grew. Shout out DDW, he's great and that's my peer review. These haters keep on hating and it's starting to feel like deja vu. Insanity and Chef Jew, I can't forget my day one crew. EM Reason Ball Game, the recognition's overdue. I share with you my point of view and this is what it's got us to success. My haters say I'm a mess, they say that I'm a pest and I depress, and I'm obsessed with causing stress, but yet the stress they can't suppress. Nonetheless, I just impress because I'm blessed and they oppress. I know the answers, they just guess. When they play checkers, I play chess. When they regress, I make progress, and my attention they get less. They feel neglected, CPS. If they don't pay, I repossess. Now I digress and decompress and take recess and clear my chest. I must confess I am the best. Like, hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic, repping my team, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs, look at how much we done grew. Shout out DDW, he's great and that's my peer review. These haters keep on hating and it's starting to feel like deja vu. Insanity and Chef Jew, I can't forget my day one crew. EM Reason Ball Game, the recognition's overdue. I share with you my point of view and this is what it's got us to success. On the road to the Super Bowl, no matter the cost, man, we willing to pay the toll. 50 plus years and they all ended in tears. Now it's time to pop bottles, celebrate, scream cheers. Hey, this is 2022. TD on the mic, repping my team, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Over 20,000 subs, look at how much we done grew. Shout out to my day one crew, we only here because of